Hey guys, this is Garrett here with the Career Crate and Resume Box. You're probably here because you bought this resume on Etsy, but if you found your way here on YouTube, please feel free to follow the link below and get your copy of the template for $7.95. You'll probably be able to figure out how to make this yourself just by watching this tutorial and seeing how all the components work together and how it's put together. But I'm telling you, $7.95 is well worth the time you're going to save by switching to using the pre-made template. Starting from scratch will probably take you 3 to 4 hours, whereas starting with the template, you can probably get this done in 30 minutes or so. Um, there are two things that I want to talk about first off. Number one is I'm using a new recording software that doesn't have the noise reduction capabilities that the last one I was using does. And I'm beside a road. So I'm recording late at night to minimize traffic, but there still is the occasional car. And I want to go ahead and just apologize for that. And I hope it doesn't cause too much of a distraction throughout the video. The second thing is if you look here, you might notice that this is a diamond. Um, it may the resume you bought or the resume you saw the thumbnail for on YouTube may not have this diamond, but I make four resumes that are essentially the same whenever I make them, and they all have a different design element right here at the edges of the rectangles. And just because yours doesn't exactly have a diamond doesn't mean that this is the wrong tutorial. They're all going to work the same. Those four that fit the set all work the same. And I just made a video for one of them, or a tutorial for one of them, because the other three are going to work exactly the same as it. So with that introduction, let's begin. I'm going to show you how this whole thing's put together and its components, and how to make any of the changes you want. So at the end of the video, once you start working on yours and you get as far as you can go, if you still need my help, just shoot me an email or a message on Etsy and I'll help you out within 24 hours. We may not be to a final product within 24 hours, but we'll be well within our way. And if you think that if there's some kind of issue that's coming up that we can't get past, I can schedule a Zoom call or a Teams meeting with you and we can work out the bugs on this thing together. Make sure you have a resume you're happy with and can start your job search. Um, so there are five main components to this resume. One, there's the picture. Two, text boxes. Three is the wording itself, and that will include the fonts, colors, the text spacing. Four is the resume icons. And five are the outline rectangles that make up these lines. So let's start with a picture. So if we look at this picture, this is a stock photo from Unsplash that I used in these. But obviously you're not this person, so you're going to want to change the picture. So let me show you how to do that. First off, let's click the picture, go to picture format, and notice that its size is 1.67 by 1.62. And we're going to need that for when we bring in the next picture. So I'm going to replace this with an identical picture. In your case, you're going to replace it with a picture of your own. One thing I will want to tell you is go ahead and crop your picture before you bring it in. So if it's a full body picture and you only want your head and shoulders, go ahead and crop that and save it as its own picture, because that's what you're going to need whenever you import. So let's go ahead and go to insert. We'll insert a picture from this device. We'll go in right there. This is my picture, and as you see, it screwed up the whole resume. But to fix that, we'll go to the layout options and bring it to in front of text. So that frees it from the actual document itself and allows it to just sit on top of everything. All right, and then the next thing, let's go ahead and crop it. We're going to crop aspect ratio 1:1. Now we're going to crop it to shape. Come down here to flowchart where the circle is. Now let's change its size to 1.62. And we have something that works. So we can bring it in, we can delete the picture behind it, and we can come in here and put it about where you would want it to be. Alright, now that it's in, let's go ahead and go to color. This is one of the black resumes, so let's go ahead and just turn it to black and white, and you can change its saturation after you're done. That's it for the picture. And the next thing is going to be text boxes. So everything's in a text box. So this the name is in a text box, professional outline, work experience, skills, education, references. Both of these work experiences are in separate text boxes, extras. Everything is in its own text box. And the reason why I put everything in a text box is to help with formatting. So, um, what it does is it disconnects the text box from the page and allows us to do a better job of placing it exactly where we want it. So it's not locked to the lines of the Word document itself. So if I want to move this halfway off the page, I can do that. I can move it anywhere that I want to. Whereas if this was still actually written within the lines of the Word document itself, we wouldn't be able to do that. Um, so there is one text box that's different, and that's the contact text box. So what it is it's a group of group, and everything's grouped together. So if you choose the big one, you can move everything together as one. If you choose the small one, you can move just the words independently. And if you select, ooh, I flattened it. If you select an SV or one of the resume icons, we can move it independently as well. Text boxes are pretty straightforward. If you need to make one bigger, you can just click the arrow, bring it down. You can make it wider if you'd like, and that's going to change where your words line up on the edge of the page. So next, let's talk about the words themselves. So let's talk about fonts and sizing. So if we select this and go up here to the font menu, you'll see that I use Corbel Light and 11-point font, but you can change it to any font that you want, and you can change it to any size that you want. But I think that if it was me, I would stay at 12 or below, because anything above that's going to start to look weird. People are going to start to notice that you're using a bigger font, maybe to use up space and make your resume look longer than it's supposed to. So I'd stick with 12, because even at 12, if we change it to 12, we still have to make the text box bigger to fit everything inside of it. And by doing that, it no longer fits in the rectangle. I mean, it's easy to fix. You just make the rectangle bigger. But then you have to do a lot more. It's not as simple as that. You have to bring this next text or this next thing down, realign everything, and the diamond itself isn't lined up anymore. But we'll talk about all this in a minute. I'll go through an example that shows you how to move around these text boxes and get that all fixed for you in just a few minutes. So, next is colors. Once again, we can select this. We can change its color from here. And let's talk about text spacing. So whenever I say text spacing, I don't mean the paragraph phrasing, which would be, or spacing, not phrasing, I'm sorry. Spacing, which would be here, which actually separates and gives a different distance to the lines. Something's going on here. Oh, let's go ahead and change that to 11. That's what the problem is. So if we select this and change the paragraph spacing, you can use this to get rid of any blank space that you have on your page. I don't think I'd really go above 1.15 or 1.5. Once again, if you go too large, they're going to notice that it's double spaced, and they're going to realize that you purposefully tried to fill in space. Anyway, got off topic. What we're talking about is the text spacing, which is the actual distance between each letter that's beside each other within a word. So if in this body, all of the body words, the text spacing is normal. And what that means is each letter sits right beside the next one. But in the name, in the titles, and in the professional title, where you're going to put your actual title, the spacing is not normal. It's been expanded. So if we select the name, come here to font, and go to this little arrow, go to advance, you'll see that the spacing has been expanded by 6 points. And I do this because it looks better, and you may need to change it really depending on how long your name is. So If you have a really long name, you might make the expansion a little smaller. If you have a short name, you might make it a little bigger. And it's all completely up to you what you want to do and what you think looks best. But let me show you what happens if we take this and turn it into normal text spacing. See, it pushes the name together, and personally, I don't think it looks good. So I think that really you're going to find a balance with, like I said, the length of your name. And I'm sure you'll find a setting that really makes it look good. So the next thing is going to be the resume icons. So if we select one of these, let's select the bottom one and go to graphics format. You'll notice that it's 0.28 inches by 0.28 inches. It doesn't have to be. It could be 0.35, 0.3, 0.25, whatever you want it to be. Just know that if you go too small, they're going to be hard to see. And if you go too big, they're going to be hard to make look good on the page. Like if you made them an inch each, then they're going to take up half the page. And you're going to have to increase your font. It's going to make it hard to look good. So I think I'd stay somewhere in this ballpark, but the individual setting is up to you. And what this is really important for is I've included a resume icon pack. And if you find some icons on there that you like better and you want to bring them in, all you do is just right click them inside of the resume icon pack, copy them, and then paste them over here. But whenever you paste them, they're going to come in at like 1 inch. So immediately you're going to have to go ahead and change the sizing and get them where you want them, and then start switching them out with these icons. Once you have that done, you can change the color. So graphics fill just fills in the whole thing. It creates, like here, if I choose black, it turned it into a solid black dot. So graphics fill isn't really useful. You want to go to graphics outline, and this is where you're going to be able to change all the colors. They're as simple as that. You may have to move them around, get them exactly how you want them, do a little bit of adjustment, but I mean they're pretty simple. So the last part of this is going to be the rectangles themselves. So if we click here, you notice that this is made of a rectangle, and so is that. What I've learned is the ones on the right side are easiest selected from the top, and the ones on the left side are easiest selected from the very left edge of the page. So I'm just going to go through, show you where all these rectangles are. Skills uses the rectangle from top to bottom. Education is in its own small rectangle. Work experience down here, this one isn't in a rectangle. It's just surrounded by them. References is in its own small rectangle. Extras isn't in a rectangle. And this entire work experience section is in one big rectangle. So I've showed you a little bit earlier on how to move these around. So let's just go through an example here. Let's say you want to use 2 references instead of 3. Let's move that back. So let's delete one of these references, and let's make the text box match the new size. Okay. Now we want to make the rectangle match the new size, and we'll bring extras up to give them more space. All right, so you can just add in more simple extras if you like, or you can copy and paste the extras section from the 3-page resume. It has an expanded 3-page resume. You may be using a 3-page resume already. And what it does is it just adds more detail. So for memberships, it has a section for the organization with the membership, the year that you got the membership, the title. Like with courses, the course of the title, the people who gave the course, the year that you took the course, just to expand on that knowledge and give the hiring manager more information on the extras that you're providing for them here. Okay, once again, like earlier, we've noticed by moving the box, the diamond is in the wrong spot now. So to fix that, what we're going to do is we're going to bring it up, put it in about the right spot, and then come down to the bottom right page of the page and fully zoom in. And now we're going to actually put it in here perfectly. And once we're at full zoom. So if you look at it, I call it perfectly, but it's still a little bit off. But we're at 480% zoom. So if we go back to 100 you'll notice that everything looks fine. So if they're going to print this off, look at it in a Word document, look at it as PDF, it doesn't matter. It's going to look fine now that we've zoomed back out. Nobody's going to be able to tell the difference. And even if it was still a little bit off, everybody's going to be reading the resume and seeing what it actually contains. They'll notice the diamond is there, but they're not really going to nitpick it. They're probably not going to really notice that it's a little bit off or care. If they do notice, they're probably not going to care. They might think that their computer did it or it was a glitch or you know. So if you can't get it exactly perfect, don't worry about it too much. Um, and really, that's about all there is to this. If you don't care, please take a moment to like and subscribe. That way you can get updates on some new products that I'll be launching. I'll be making all kinds of different products for your career or to create a business, so or your financial stability. So I'll be making digital planners, financial planners, business creation paperwork, some packets on things like that. And I really don't know how far I'm going to go with this or how many different things that I am, but that will keep you updated. And not only that, but it's going to help with the algorithm and it's going to allow people from YouTube or Google to find this and hopefully help some other people find these products, and maybe it can help them with their career and their job search as well. So, thank you for your support. And if you have any issues, please feel free to send me a message and I'll help you out. I wish you all the luck in your job hunt and with the rest of your career. Have a great day, and thank you so much.